Hi, I'm Allison, and I'm just starting out my new YouTube channel, and I'm trying something new today because I've been trying to try something new every day when it comes to this, just to get started and learn and then see where I am at any given point in time so I can measure my progress. And I figured I'd do it out loud here this way, so you could maybe join in and see, compare things, how long things took, what things looked like at one point versus now, and everything, in case you wanted to do something like that too. It doesn't even have to be just YouTube videos, honestly. It could really just be starting anything. Getting started, because I feel like this can pertain to so many things where it's just like so hard to get started because you feel overwhelmed or you just don't know where to start. And if you're like me, you let perfectionism really get in the way of just showing up messy, and just doing the thing. And I'm here to just give you 100% full permission if you need it, and encouragement to really, especially if it comes to, again, definitely tell you that if it comes to something like YouTube channel or whatever, right now at the very, very early stage when you've got like nothing, like you've got no audience, you've got no subscribers, you've got no videos, nothing, right? The quantity actually matters more than the quality. As you're starting to sort of like build your, build upon all your learning and figure out what you want to do and what you want to say. And I'm so early in the process, I really don't have much of an idea of that first, but every time I've shown up and like done another video or whatever, I get a little bit closer to that and figuring out like, oh, this is probably more what I naturally feel like I want to talk about or might be the most interesting thing to share. And so there's like more strategy in it now than there was even a week ago. And even that surprises me, right? Because I really am just sort of trying to show up and sort of learn as I go, and then share that process with you. So if I look like an amateur in my videos, there's a reason, because I absolutely am. And I don't want to try to hide that right now because I don't see what the point is. So anyway, I'm going to try to do something new, which is splice this little video, which I'm taking today, which is May 7th. And I'm going to upload a new video. And that was a video that I shot on February 26th. And I entitled it my very first like YouTube video or whatever. Cause at the time I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start talking about like starting a business and like maybe pitch my business a little bit in it. I wasn't even sure, but, and I just wanted to like not let that just sit in a vault somewhere without sharing it, because we're talking like, so like over 3 months ago that I recorded this, but I never published it. And I just also wanted to, so it's gonna be out of order, like on my timeline or whatever. But I just wanted to preface that by explaining, not that I have to, but like explaining that I would have done that a lot sooner, but like less than a week after I made that video, my sister, my only sister, got really, really, really sick. Like suddenly overnight, like hospitalized, in ICU, and things just got worse and worse and worse for like weeks. And so basically everything I was doing for my business, everything I was thinking about, everything I was trying to do, including that copywriting course that I mentioned, that I had recently started back in February, everything came to a crashing halt. And it was just like a really traumatic time. I did everything that I could. Like I would put in the hours and the effort and everything, and I would show up sitting down at my laptop while my kids were at school, my husband was at work, my sister was in the hospital, not having visitors and everything like that. And I would sit here, and also I was with my dog the whole time because he ended up right at that same time getting Giardia, which is like a parasite. And then he couldn't like ever be around other dogs or ever go to daycare, which I had been using like 3 days a week so I could get like really focused work done. So I was like at home, with that caretaking responsibility, which needs a lot of energy, and I just get really easily distracted. So anyway, for many reasons, I felt like I was just spinning my wheels. I felt like totally stuck in the mud. from the time where it turned out like I knew she was not going to be going home anytime soon, and it was like a life-threatening type of serious thing, until like she was finally released from the hospital a couple weeks, like 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago or whatever. And so that was like, that whole time my business just stopped basically. I stopped, I worked on my copywriting course. Even that was like, took me like 5 times as long. Felt so hard because I was trying to focus, and I was just spinning my wheels. And I was beating myself up for it. Because I felt the pressure. I need an income. I was laid off back in August, and I decided in January I was going to do this business thing, and I was going to like learn how to replace my income as soon as possible. And I was, I'm all in on this and everything, but I'm like 100% responsible for doing all of this and doing it as soon as possible so we can resume, I can resume my half of paying the bills, and we won't get behind or like, add any other stress to this already stressful time. So yeah, I'm feeling a lot of pressure from that. And then adding on this family emergency, which obviously took all, the time and space up in my head and my heart and everything else, before that a lot of that had been my business. So yeah, so that was really tough. And I just wanted to share that, like everything came to a screeching halt. And so in the last couple of weeks, I've been slowly getting like back online and everything. And I'm still not fully where I was back in February. I still feel off. Like, I feel like I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to be fully back on track or whatever, or if there even is such a thing. This just could be another, part of this, crazy journey that I'm on. So yeah, I just added another 7 minutes to this right now. So it's pretty much, probably didn't need to be, but I didn't want to edit, just so you know, I didn't want to edit the original video. I pretty much left it as is. And now I know when I create videos, like the first 30 to 45 seconds or whatever, should be compelling and like, should like, make people want to kind of stop and, keep watching or like, whatever. So like in the last couple videos in the last week and a half or whatever, since I even started doing this, I've learned so much because I'm learning from somebody who knows a lot. She's learning from someone who knows even more. And we're all just sort of like trickling it down to one another, filtering down the best of the best stuff that, needs to kind of go in place and what order and how important it is versus this isn't important that like right now. And so I'm learning so much, and I'm trying to implement as I go, and pass anything along that comes out to you guys in case, for whatever reason, whether you have ADHD, whether you're starting a new business, if you're a perimenopausal late 40 mom or something like that. You have perfectionism, I have anxiety, OCD, depression, like all sorts of things. So if anything kind of resonates with you, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to end up talking about more. I really just want to help people. I would like to help people with their businesses. I would like to get their voices raised and amplified and visible to more people, than they already are, so that they can make more money. And if they're awesome people with values aligned businesses and things like that, then I want to do my part in trying to figure out how to help them do that. And I don't really know. I really don't know exactly what that looks like right now, but that's the adventure I'm on right now. So, all right, I'm turning this off for good, and I'll try to splice it together and we'll see. All right, see you later. Enjoy the video. Hey. This is my first YouTube video. Oh my God, why do I have a bald spot there? Okay. I've been putting this off for so long, and I'm just doing it now because I have it on my list, and I pretty much follow everything on my list now. Yeah. And if I don't do it, then it gets pushed till tomorrow, and tomorrow my dog will be home, not at daycare like he is right now, and that's going to be another added bonus fun feature to me trying to get past any of the blocks I'm currently experiencing from even just doing this very first video. So I'm using Loom. This is like brand new. I think I've only made like 3 videos with it, so like I can understand like the basic functionality to get it going. Yeah, it actually is recording right now. Nice. But like, I don't really know much else about it, but I've heard that you can record in this and use it to upload to YouTube. And so since that was on my list of things I wanted to try this year in 2024, for my new business, and just in general, I guess, because I don't even know if I'm going to be able to stay like focused on the business aspect of things anyway. Like, that's not, I can't even tell there's like no line right now between my life and my quote unquote work. Okay. So like, and I know that can be a bad thing, but like, I actually am working toward the fact that accepting that this is probably the way it's going to be. And I probably want it to, I think I want it to be this way, not because I'm like a workaholic, which I am, but like that's not a good thing, but because I believe in work-life integration, because that whole balance myth is kind of BS. So at least when it comes to me, like I have ADHD and only just recently diagnosed like 6 months ago, but I have always been sort of like having trouble with balancing. So like just with everything. And so this is no exception. And so trying to have very distinct, like clear cut borders and stuff, like I know that works for some people. Yeah, it's just really, it's kind of hard for me when it comes to something that's such a big part of my life. Like my family, my personal life, everything that's like non-work is like everything, right? And I'm just one of those naturally like driven, ambitious people. And so like, I am fulfilled by doing certain work and I like I like the aspect of that. Like I'm just wired that way. So that's also a big part of it. And so like me trying to start my own business and work from home and do my own thing in a sort of somewhat flexible way, where I get to call the shots, like is like super appealing to me and what I'm currently trying to like work out how that looks even. So I don't even know where I was going with this, but anyway, yeah, so the whole like integration thing, I think can be a good thing if you know what you're doing, like if you're being intentional about it. So because like I can't not think about this. I could definitely not think about my other jobs, like when I was working like at my other jobs, my other corporate newsroom jobs for the past 25 years. I could definitely turn that off because I was lucky enough to have like the kind of job that you showed up and then you like worked your butt off, totally high stress, high pace, whatever. And then I was able to leave it all behind when I left, and not think about it again until the next day because of the nature of the work. It was very much real time. And then by the next day, everything from the day before was pretty much forgotten and you started and you did it all over again. And so I think that that's why I was able to like do well in that environment. And also the fact that I had a really flexible schedule at that time where like when I had babies and stuff and they were tiny and still nursing because none of them took a bottle, I was like able to like start work at 5 a.m. So while they were sleeping, and my husband was home, I was able to like get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and get ready and sneak out, usually without disturbing anybody, and go to work and do my thing for a couple hours. And then I would fly right out once the market opened in the morning, and then came home and then relieved my husband. And my, sometimes my kid will have still been asleep. So that worked for many, many years. I would stay with the baby all day or the kids. I have 3, but like, whatever combination was around, I would stay with them until obviously they were old enough to go to school and stuff. But, my husband we would like do a tag team thing where he would just go to work. So and then he would come back home from work, and I would actually go back into my office and work from 4 p.m. when the market closed for a few more hours. And then I would come, and then he'd be with the kids, and then I'd come home. It was like crazy. We did that for years and years and years. But that's the way it is, and that worked at the time. And, you know, I was lucky enough to have a really flexible boss at the time who saw the value of me being able to work that way, because it filled his needs, the business needs, to be on both ends of the market, open and close, for my job. And it filled my needs because I didn't want to be a full-time anything. I didn't want to be a full-time mom, and I didn't want to be a full-time employee, like a traditional one. So yeah. So again, I have no idea where I am right now. I'm only having to do like 8 minutes here. So, because I've read somewhere that like, oh, if you're going to make a YouTube video, at least make it 8 minutes. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm looking at the countdown here. I can totally do 8 minutes. Like, I really didn't want to do this. I really just wanted to have lunch. And I kind of went over there, and then I was like, it was like, then I'm gonna have to like worry about like whether my lipstick looks weird after I eat. And I'm like, that's like, I don't need any more excuses to like, I can come up with a million as to why I wasn't going to take this first step, because, you know, part of me really wants to do it, and part of me really doesn't want to do it. And so, yeah, I'm still wrestling with that. But I heard from a very smart person that, that if you try this like once a week, or I don't even know how many times I'm going to do this, but you do it consistently for a year, then, you know, you'll be somewhere else in a year. And since everything is brand new, and I'm at the start of pretty much trying and doing everything right now in my business, I chose this one thing. I'm not really that great with social media, and it turns out, I had no idea that I just lumped YouTube into that category, but apparently it's like more like considered, I don't know why I didn't know this, but like a search engine, sort of like Pinterest, which is another thing that I'm going to be, I think, trying to maybe focus on learning, as opposed to Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn stuff. I don't know, just messing around with it and gonna see where it ends up, but gotta start now because it's on my list and I want to just keep going. So while everything's chaotic and crazy and I'm just learning, I wanted to get this one thing out of the way. And it's funny, I'm going to read something really fast now that I just spent like an hour writing. Yeah, so I wrote this before because I was going to do a LinkedIn post because I was like, oh, that'll be easier than doing like a video, because what am I going to talk about in the video and everything? Then I fall down like rabbit holes. So anyway, I'm going to do a little bit of both. So my idea was the only 3 people I'm fixated on learning from for my newborn baby biz right now was going to be the headline, the hook headline. Apparently people like, you know, reading things with numbers, like lists or whatever, and you want to make it a little sort of like, oh, I wonder what that's about. I wonder which 3 people. Yeah. So last month I went all in on an entrepreneurial journal I dabbled with briefly in 2019, a copy editing and proofreading business for other ambitious and busy small businesses. It's called Fixate. That's why I'm here. Sure, I have 25 years of professional newsroom experience and a bachelor's in English writing under my belt. But when it comes to setting up, running, and then scaling a business, pretty much flying blind as a golden mole. And then I say, so clumsily slipped down a Google rabbit hole because I was curious where the phrase originated. And what do you know? Not only are bats not blind, they actually have pretty good vision. Golden moles, on the other hand, have completely non-functional eyes that are covered in skin. Kind of creeping me out right now. So you want to see a picture of the golden mole? Okay. What do you think? That is a little creepy, right? So, yeah. Anyway, I mean, it's kind of cute in a way, too. I don't know. What do you think? And then I started writing, oh, man, where was I again? And this, my friends, is exactly my conundrum. This is my life, okay? I start writing or I start talking, and then like one thought goes to another thought to another story and da-da-da-da-da, and then I'm like, where am I? And yeah, and so when I'm trying to be intentional, I mean, when I'm just talking to somebody or whatever, it's not, as big of a deal because I'm like, they love me, like it's okay, but like obviously when I'm trying to like do something really intentional, and I can edit it and revise it and I have time or whatever, like I'm trying to like not be like, I'm trying to come across as at least I have a little bit of organizational thought, and kind of, stay on task. So that's something I constantly struggle with, and you'll probably hear and see so many examples of that if you continue watching this. So in the meantime, I just have no idea what I'm going to do with that LinkedIn post because I'm literally that's my process. But I'm really trying to not spend like 3 days writing this because what's the point, right? I mean, oh my God, I have work to do. Like I have clients to get. I have so many other things that are more important than doing this. And yet when I'm doing it, it's like everything just like hyper focuses on that one thing. And also I really like writing. Like I really like the creative process, and I think the part I don't like about it is the fact that it takes me so long and I'm like a perfectionist about it. And I'm like, oh, let me try this word. Oh, what about this or whatever? And I have trouble organizing my thoughts. And so, that's something that I actually have been avoiding for a long time until I enrolled in a copywriting course. That's the best copywriting course ever. And I'm so lucky to be in it. And actually, that's like a spoiler. Don't you want to know who those 3 people are? I'm going to talk a lot about them, I think, in my videos, because I am learning so much, and I think so much of these people. And honestly, like I will get overwhelmed if I try to like learn from everybody or learn from a whole bunch of people. And so I am like, this group of people, I'm like really deeply focusing on learning how to grow a business and things like that. I'm learning from, or certain skills for my business, I'm learning from a very, very select type of, these people for now. And of course, there's like so many other wonderful people out there. And these people are the people that then connect me to those people because they'll either be on their podcast or they'll talk about them or, anything like that. And so now like my community's of learning is bigger, and I have more tools to dig from in my like resource library. But I have to be really, really deliberate and sort of like keep refocusing on this main, like not putting the cart before the horse, because I just get like so overwhelmed and I shut down, and then I'm like back to square one, and I can't do that. Like I really need to. I need to do this, and focus. So this obviously is not going to work for everybody, and everybody else's 3 people might be completely different, obviously, but I would recommend if you have trouble, like maybe some of the things that I said, maybe think about, doing something like this, like finding your people. And it didn't happen overnight, and I put a lot of research and thought, and it sort of happened organically. There's a whole backstory. But anyway, back to the copywriting thing. I recently I signed up for kind of expensive because, I have no money in my business because I just started it. And so investing in myself and for business skills or whatever, it was pretty hefty, but I could see the longer term payoff being really a lucrative and smart decision for me to make. And so her name's Alex Catoni, Alex, and the last name Cattoni. And her business is called The Copy Posse. I know it sounds a little weird, whatever, but don't let that throw you off at all, if you think that. And I'm in a writing cohort that lasts like 9 weeks. And it's amazing. It's been amazing. It's so much work, but oh my God, it's kind of changed my life and my trajectory of my business in just like the last like 5 weeks. So anyway, I'm not going to tell you about the other 2 just yet. You'll have to stay tuned for that, or maybe connect with me on LinkedIn. I don't know if I even ever get this post finished. So look at this. I did 15 minutes. And now I can go have lunch, and my dog's still at daycare, and my kids are still at school, and my husband's still at work. And I have so many other things I need to do now, and I'm going to feel really good about getting this one thing done. So if I'm giving you homework, if you have a thing like this where you just need to do it and do it messy, I want you to do it right now. I want you to not right now, but like I want you to try to make that a priority. I'm not editing this. I'm not doing anything. I'm literally just like, I know this is going to be crappy. I don't care. And like 0 people are going to watch it because like both of my parents are dead and my kids and my husband are busy and like, who cares, right? Because it's just my job. So like, no one's going to watch this, but you know what? We all got to start somewhere, right? So anyway, if you want to find me and my business, I'm Allison and I'm at ifixate.com, ifixate.com, and you can pretty much connect with me through there to anywhere where I am right now. So, or in the comments. I'm so new to this. I don't even know how YouTube works. Comment in the comments if you have any thoughts. Nice ones, please. Please, nice. Not that, I mean, whatever. I'm not going to honestly care, but like, just try to be nice, okay? But I don't have time for this. Like, I don't have time to get like bogged down by like random idiots online or whatever. No one's going to see this. What the hell? Okay. This is way too long. I don't even know if this is a good idea, but I'm publishing it. So, yeah. So take it easy. And I'm supposed to be doing this once a week, but maybe I'll do it like 3 times in 1 week. I don't know. I have no idea. I figured I'll get more practice this way. Maybe a little bit more comfortable speaking to myself. I talk to myself anyway. Okay, guys. Bye. It was nice meeting you. If I have no idea who you are, so I'd love to know who you are. But that's okay if you lurk too. So, all right. Next time. Bye.